Welcome back to your favorite podcast, But Do You Have a Real Job? With your host, Mario Mitchell.
It's me, Mario.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. We're here with Dovydas. He's an awesome YouTuber and a musician born out of Lithuania. I believe you were born there. I don't know, I'm just making that up. I know you're from there. But he's from Lithuania and now lives in the U.S. And yeah, man, how are you doing? Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Doing good. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Happy to have you here. I just came across your channel about a month ago, and I can't remember which video it was. It was, I think, a video where the woman at the restaurant was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need you to turn that down," and then the other people were like, "No, we're really gonna need you to turn that way down," you know. And I started watching your channel. I was like, "This guy's interesting. What's he got going on?" And then you start doing your whole thing where you're playing the guitar, and then you got the drums, and then you play harmonic. Dude, you got a lot of shit going on. You're really talented. You got a lot of shit going on.
Thanks. You're too kind.
So is your actual legal name Dovydas?
Yeah. That's David in Lithuanian. Yeah,
that's cool, because I was wondering, you go by David Smash, I see sometimes. I'm like, and then I saw another name, Rebel Star Stella Knot. I was like, what the heck is that? Is that like the stage name?
Well, no, it's just something. I like the sound of Rockstar Astronaut, but it was copyrighted, so I had to come up with something original, you know. So it's just part of. I don't know what I'm doing with that. I might do like a comic book series or something, but Rebel Star Stellan out. And I used to use David Smash, but I haven't used that in like 3 years now. Sometimes people mess it up, like locally, because I live in Sarasota. They still, like know me by David Smash, but that's a made up name,
Yeah, it's cool though. Dovydas is a cool name. It's Lithuanian. It sounds cool. It sounds like a stage name, but it's cool that it's actually your real name. That's dope.
Thanks.
So when did you move over from the U.S. from Lithuania?
In 2012. Yeah, it was March 2012. Yeah.
How was that transition?
Well, well, it wasn't easy, but I made it happen, and I had a bunch of great people helping me out along the way, so it was cool.
Okay. Was the culture a lot different over there than it is over here?
Yeah, the sandwiches, they're not open-faced sandwiches. You see, Americans, they put like two pieces like that, and everything comes with fries.
Yeah, every single thing comes with fries. So you don't have two pieces of bread in Lithuania? You only use one?
Yeah, you just use one, because we have better bread. The bread in America is like the worst bread in the world. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. I mean, it seems like it would be, but that's why Americans are fat.
Well, I wouldn't attribute that to one single factor, but I'm sure food has something to do with it.
Yeah, definitely. I saw you actually. I wasn't going to bring this up till a little bit later, but I saw you on what was it? It was that Lithuanian Got Talent. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Dude, you were only 17 years old and you were out there killing it like a rock star.
Thanks.
Did you end up winning that, or how did that go?
Well, I made it to the finals, and then I had an argument with one of the head producers, and so I placed last in the finals. And this guy that was playing his teeth, like hitting his teeth with his fingernails, he won the whole thing. Yeah.
Hitting his teeth with his fingernails.
Yes.
That's a pretty interesting thing, especially because the video I watched you were playing guitar, and then you played the bass, and then you played the piano, and then you played the harmonica, and then you played the drums, and then a guy fucking plays his teeth. Come on, man.
Yeah, but I played all those instruments, but I didn't play my teeth.
You should have played your teeth. You probably would have won. Man, that's crazy. But what's really crazy is you were only 17. That's insane. And you started your YouTube channel, I guess, around then, 10 years ago. But it didn't look like you were actually trying YouTube. It looks like you were just uploading your videos for your music. When did you actually say, I want to be a YouTuber? And then you got that camera on the end of your guitar. So you go out and you record yourself playing, live to people. When did you start doing that?
I guess the light bulb went off in like 2016, 2017. because it turns out you can make a living. I didn't know that then, until then, and then somebody told me, well, no, they actually make a living. And I'm like, no shit. So my idea of success was, okay, I'm gonna come to America, okay, and somehow I'm gonna get on television, and I've managed to do that. But you see, no one gives a shit about television anymore.
Yeah, definitely not.
So I guess that ship has sailed. So I've tried several TV shows and morning, TV shows, and nothing happens. And I guess YouTube is the new TV. So I
Yeah.
started thinking of what content. Like, do I do reaction videos? What do I do?
Right.
I watched a bunch of YouTube. I started watching a bunch of YouTube, not just for entertainment but for education. Like what it is that. Why do these videos have millions of views? And I don't think I still figured it out why videos have millions of views, but I guess that like early 2017 I would bring a larger DSLR to gigs and I put it on tripod, but DSLR shuts off after like 30 minutes of recording, and then you have to go and click the thing again, and then I started looking into portable field recorders, how to capture direct audio, because I remember watching a video from Dub FX, and he said that the first video of his that went viral was actually had direct audio from the mixing board. So okay, I have to have direct audio from the mixing board. Then I had to Google how to get direct audio from the mixing board, and then I just got sick of the DSLR because they're large, expensive, and they're on the tripod, and then I have to like turn it on and off every 30 minutes. So then I got one of those like cheap GoPro knockoffs, like from China or whatever.
Yeah.
And they stay on for like 2 hours. So
Okay.
I just started doing that, audio direct, and then the thing, on my headstock, and whatever happens.
Right. I've never seen that done before with the camera on the headstock of the guitar like that. I mean, maybe people have done it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, you think more people would do it because how easy it is,
Yeah. It gave me the idea. I'm like, all right, I play guitar. I'm going to start doing that at my shows. That's a great idea.
Here you go, yeah.
And no, it's good that you have the direct audio from the mixer too, because then you have perfect audio.
Yeah, because then somewhere I read that people are 50% more likely to watch a shitty video that has really good audio. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Right. That's one good thing about the videos, though. Yeah, you got great audio. And not only that, but I'm curious, you don't even have an amp. You have like, what do you have going on? Because your guitar sounds balling out. It sounds crazy.
Thanks. It goes direct. I've been using different cabinet simulators since like 2016. So at the time I used like DSM Noisemaker. It's made in Chile by this one guy, great company. I used that. Then I used ADA cabinet simulator. I remember what else? Then AMT, Russian company, they released something. Then I saved up to get that. And then once the YouTube started happening, I somehow finagled to have a relationship with Boss Roland. So then they sent me GT1000. So then I used that for like 2 years, and now I'm getting back into pedals. So now I have two Strymon Iridiums going in stereo, left and right.
Dang, you have two going left and right. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, I have all my board in stereo. So all the preamp section of the pedal board is like a compressor, EQ, then another EQ. Okay, it's a shit show. But anyways, and as soon as the first pedal that has a stereo out, then from then on, it's all stereo out. So I have two different delays. I have a slow by Walrus on the left, and then I have Astronomer V2 by Matthews Effects on the right. And then before that, I have Boss DD200, MD200, and then, well, this is a smaller version. This is actually I'm looking at my pedal board right now. This is a very small board. I have so many pedals, and my sick dream is to have one big pedal board where I put all the pedals that I have and do gigs with it unironically.
That would be really fucking cool and complicated, it seems like. Like, yeah, I want to put all these pedals into one board.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, stereo. I like stereo because, people have two ears, and if you play guitar and there's a slight difference in like, delay or reverbs, I don't know. I think it's cool.
Right.
So, because everybody who records guitar in the studio, they all double up the guitar track and then they pan it hard left, hard right. So why not do it live,
Dude, that's
Yeah.
a great point, actually. I never thought about it like that. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
How complicated is your setup right now? Like, as it is it pretty complicated to get it going?
Not really, because the power supply is just one plug. So all the pedals are just one plug, and that's it. They're all on. So if I'm doing a gig with a band, so I just need to bring two PAs because I started doing that stereo now. So I put like one PA on this side, the other PA on this side, and then it's like my stereo.
Right.
But I guess what do you mean by complicated? I don't have
like, is it hard to like get the right sound you want because you don't have like an amp, obviously, but you have the preamp and the stuff. So is it?
Right.
But you have all the pedals. Like that's the complicated part to me. I'm thinking, oh shit, you got all these pedals. How do you get this a sound you want without messing it up?
I guess it just works, I guess it's never the sound that you want 100% because it sounds different in different places. If it's an outdoor gig or indoor gig, or they have high ceiling or low ceiling, or so I guess it's you just go from venue to venue and you kind of adapt, overcome, and improvise. Or how's that meme go? It's probably I didn't say it the right
something like
way.
that. I don't know exactly, but something like that. I've noticed you play a lot of interesting venues. You play outside a lot, and isn't it weird how in some of your videos you got like 3 people out in the street watching, but you've got 200,000 people watching on YouTube?
It's a simulation, 3 people, that's like, okay, that's normal gig. And if it's like 10 people, holy shit, that's a lot of people. You see the numbers on the internet, for all I know, it could be a YouTube engineer trolling me, and it could be like there's no one. It just displays that number to me, and for all I know, it's all a simulation. So I try not to let that get to me, in any sort of way, because I've seen other people get like a little bit internet traction, and then good luck talking to them.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of your videos, you're pretty humble about your following. You just hit 500,000 subs, by the way. Congrats on that. Very
thanks.
complicated feat, very hard to do. A lot of people can't do it. You've done it with your music, which is crazy. But is it possible for you right now at this point in your YouTube career to make your living solely off of YouTube? Yeah. And you can even like, depends how far you want to like sell your soul. Like, have you ever heard of the game called Raid Shadow Legends? Oh God, yeah.
I don't do those, but I've been approached by doing sponsored shit like that. But yeah, you can, if you don't care about integrity, you can make very good living.
That's crazy. I feel like I would probably be that guy. You're like, how much are you gonna pay me? I mean, yeah, go ahead, let's do it, But I think it's good that you don't do it because, if you were promoting a Raid Shadows Legends in your videos, people would be like, what the fuck? What am I watching right now?
So many people do. I mean, like, Stevie T, Jared Dines, all of those, they've done ads for Raid Shadow Legends. So I still kind of, if I have a chance, I troll them in other videos, about it. I mean, I think they're still cool people. It's just funny,
Right. It is pretty funny. So how do you find your gigs? I mean, do you just like kind of set up shop, or do you have to hit these people up and say, I want to play at your restaurant or wherever?
So you see, Sarasota, Florida. I don't know. Where do you live?
In Missouri.
Missouri. Okay. So Sarasota, Florida is the United States Boomer Central.
Oh, God.
Sarasota County is the oldest county in the USA, and I don't mean by the time that it was established. I mean by the age of the citizens of Sarasota County. So they don't care about YouTube or the interwebs. You see, they don't care about any of that. It's like, can you do a gig and we'll pay you this much? And well, you can whine and cry about it. Oh, I'm not being recognized. Or you can accept the suffering willingly and just do it with a smile on your face and just make something of it as opposed to make nothing out of it. So I've been in this area since 2012, and I'd done a bunch of gigs as David Smash, and then I had a personality crisis at 2016, 17. So that's why I changed back to Dovydas, because I learned from Americans that it's important to be proud of your heritage. So okay, fuck that. I'm not gonna hide it that I'm from Lithuania, I suppose.
Right.
And so there's a bunch of gigs that they just don't care about YouTube or anything, which is fine. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they are happier, because they don't look at drama videos and they don't read comments. Maybe that is the way of the Tao. And then every once in a while, somebody will freaking fly from Pennsylvania, okay? And they're like, "Oh my God, I watch your videos. I can't believe no one is here." And I'm like, "I can't believe that you are here." Okay.
Right. That is crazy. Like, they flew there to see you, and there's nobody else at the show either. Like, they came there like, "Dude, I love this guy." I mean, that's crazy that you created that.
It's like they're doing pilgrimage. You see, it's like it's like the Testament or something. I don't know. It's like
Right. That's crazy though.
Yeah.
But it's really weird that not that many people are watching, but you got all these people on YouTube watching.
Right.
But you're killing it. How hard is it because you're always playing on the streets? I see you playing like in pretty busy areas where people are walking. How hard is it to like make a living as a street performer? Like if you were to do that full time?
Well, I guess if you play every day, and like sometimes like if you're like good, so I would consider like street performing as like an entry level musicianship position, and then eventually you will get noticed. So not like necessarily by a record label executive, but let's say somebody who books corporate events in your local area, so then you'll get some of those gigs several times a month. Then from those gigs, people who attend, who drive Jaguars and Maseratis at those corporate events, then they're like, "Oh, well, my niece's so-and-so graduation party is coming up. What do you charge for a house concert?" Then you might do like a house concert or something, or like an office Christmas party, or and then just like offers start rolling in. So I suppose like being a street performer musician would be an entry position, and then from there you have an opportunity to progress.
Right. That's really cool. Yeah, I didn't really think about corporate people walking down the street. They're like, "You know what? I'm going to hire this person for my gig."
Yeah.
And then once you got those connects, then they're like, "Oh, you know what? We're going to hire that guy we already hired anyway. We know he'll show up and do a good job." How do people hire you? Like if they find your videos on YouTube, "Oh, dude, I want this guy for my party." How do they hire you?
I don't think that I've done like a party because somebody watched my YouTube videos. I'm very careful about that because I don't know how weird it's going to get, And usually it's like really far away, and if it's really far away, then it's, I have like a lot of equipment. So if I need to fly, that's like a lot of money. So it's like, well, I don't want to like ask. I just feels uncomfortable, to ask. And they're like, "Well, we have like a conversation, and they're like, they have a regular job. They're not like, rich or anything." So I just, I say, "I appreciate you watching videos, but I don't think, that I can do it, and I don't think it would be fair, to have you pay that much or anything like that." So now that I come to think of it, I don't think I've ever done any kind of private party to anyone that watches my YouTube videos. I've done private parties to people that watch my YouTube videos, but they were like, I've known them since before I started doing YouTube, so that's kind of like a little bit different dynamic, as opposed to just people finding me on the internet,
Right. Is it easier for you in America to get known in the music industry than it is over in Lithuania, or how does that work?
Well, it depends what you play. I suppose internet helps out a lot, but I always wanted to play American music and I wanted to sing in English. So the logical solution was to come to the land where the largest piece of land, no matter which way you travel, they speak the same language.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of my friends, they go over in Europe and stuff, and they're like, Yeah, so we went to all these different countries and they all speak different languages in every single one of them. Like,
Yeah.
what? That would suck. How hard was it to learn English? Because you spoke, I assume, fluent Lithuanian until you moved.
Yes. Well, I spoke English when I came, not as well as I do now, I suppose, but you
Hmm.
know, I wanted to, so I guess it all depends on how bad you want to learn it. So I wanted really bad, so I did it, you know.
Right. Have you learned other languages too, other than that?
Well, well, I speak Russian too, and I was learning German because I was going to move to Germany maybe,
Hmm.
so I speak those two. Yeah.
How much harder was English than the other ones to learn, or is it easier?
Yeah, it's actually easier. Yeah, because um, um, nouns don't have genders.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
So Dovydas is that like your band or is that just you? And do you hire a band like whenever you play shows and do gigs?
When Johnny Cash started, it was like Johnny Cash in a Tennessee too, you see,
Hmm.
and that meant that it's Johnny Cash, the bass player Marshall Grant, and the guitarist Luther Perkins. And then once
Yeah.
they got a drummer, it was Johnny Cash in a Tennessee three. And the thing is, then the theaters where they would perform, the marquee would run out of letters, so they would just put Johnny Cash because that's like the main attraction. So
Right.
Dovydas band or Dovydas or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of like the same thing, you know. Mm, kind of, because it would be in the age of the internet and in the age of the search engine
Hmm.
optimization, I'm trying to make as a musician. So I think it would be rather stupid to have one name for my solo and then a completely different, like the dragon eating butterflies, the
Right.
band name, right? And then like, oh, so you meaning to tell you, okay, so it's like it's best to have one name uniting it, and for
Yeah.
people to discover, because then they search for one thing and then the other becomes recommended, so it's easier as opposed to I
Yeah.
don't know.
That makes sense because you just type in Dovydas and you immediately just pop up and it's all your videos.
Right, yeah. So it's just maybe once I no longer have to worry whether or not the algorithm favors me this week, maybe I'll have like more creative liberty on naming my projects, and will
Right.
name it in an unrecognizable symbols just for the shits and giggles. But right now it's kind of
Right.
like I rely on people finding me, you know.
Yeah. That's one good thing about your channel is like there's no controversy. There's no like real crazy shit going on. It's just you playing guitar. So it seems like your videos would be pushed more and easier because it's pretty family friendly.
Right. Yeah, you'd think,
I don't know anything about it. Yeah.
have you seen my Rob Chapman video?
Huh, I don't think so.
It's pretty controversial.
Oh God, I need to go watch that when we get off here. I actually was going through your old videos and it looks like you were doing a bunch of powerlifting too back in the day. Is that
Well,
like a Lithuanian thing?
it's kind of like if you don't want to get bullied in school and if you want to like kick their ass. Well, I still do, but I just don't post those videos anymore. That's it.
Yeah, I understand. Uh,
Yeah.
your first big video was crazy. I don't remember how many views it got. A lot of views. It was with the Steve Vai song.
Uh-huh.
And what the hell happened? Like that was your first. I was scrolling through to see which one like blew up first, and that one had like 10 million views. Maybe it wasn't 10 million. It was a lot of millions. And
Mm-hmm.
all your other videos before that, I think you had one video that had 100,000 or something. What did that like? How did you see that happening, or did you even know that was going to happen and it just blew up?
No idea. Because Steve Vai is not like a searchable title or anything. Um, None of the Steve Vai's recent videos have ever gone viral in short period of time. That was like the last video I thought it would go viral. I thought
Right.
maybe some kind of like I was watching a lot at the time, Think Media TV, and that's a YouTube utility channel where they talk about how to grow your YouTube channel.
Hmm.
So their strategy suggestion to their subscribers was, it's like a slow, controlled growth. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna brace for like 2 years of nothing
Yeah.
before anything happens on YouTube. So I just content, just turning out content, and like a 3 hour, 4 hour gig if I chop up each individual song into each individual video, that's like 20 to 30 videos.
Yeah.
So I just started doing that, and it was one of those that I was doing a bar gig. It was a weekday and no one was there, so I'm just doing whatever. And then there's like 3 people showed up, and I think there were 2 people in the back, but they left. And then this one lady just kept ordering drinks at the table of 3, and then I would like interact, with them in between. I would say like, "Don't hurt your hands while clapping," and like no one is clapping, so it's like a funny joke.
Wow.
Or I'm like, "There's no refunds for the tickets," and it's like a joke because there were no tickets. So, kind of like made them feel comfortable because there's like no one else there. And then, you can hear her yell a little bit later, "Can you play Tender Surrender by Steve Vai?" And it's like no one's there. So I was like, okay. And then the rest you see in the video, And after that, I went up and talked to them. So it turns out her son is like a guitarist that lives in New York. He's like 30 something, and she has seen Steve Vai live, I think 3 times, So there was like this connection, And then the original lady that yelled out the request, she lives in Atlanta, Georgia, but 2 of her friends, they still come to my gigs whenever it's in Sarasota, Bradenton. They're like almost always at my gigs, So.
And they come for you. That's really crazy.
They're the OGs,
That's cool. Yeah, it's cool that you got people that like, oh, he's playing, I'm gonna go watch him again, because you got it, man. You got it going on.
Thanks.
Damn it, I was gonna say something about the video. Now I'm blanking. You were saying something. I was like, oh, I want to bring something up, but then I forgot what it was. We'll move on to the next thing, and maybe I'll remember. You guys recently just played the Blues Challenge in Memphis.
Yeah, we did.
How did that go? Some of those videos were crazy. I've never really been into the blues. I thought, until I watched your guys' videos. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Thanks.
So how did that go? How did you guys get into the challenge, and then how did it go when you got there?
Well, the first time we did the Blues Challenge was in 2016. So you see, you can't, like, bands can't really go there by themselves. They have to win the regional competition. So in 2015, we won the Central Florida Blues Challenge, which is like Orlando, Florida, and the Central Florida area, whatever. And then they grant you as a winner to go represent them, which is like a big ordeal, I suppose. And then we did that 2016, 2017, and then in 2017 I was kind of done because I didn't like the politics at the Blues Foundation. There is this organization in the United States called the Blues Foundation, and it's a board of directors and a handful of people that run the whole shit show, and they get to decide what is blues and what is not blues, and if you're blues or if you're not enough blues. I have so many opinions about that, but anyways, so I thought it would be cool to pay homage and to pay honors, before I move forward in music, to go to completely nuts before I go completely, because I want to do like EDM and I want to do trap and hip hop with guitar and vocals and just like weird shit, It would be good to go to Memphis again, pay respects sort of to the genre that got me into playing guitar and to playing music. So the idea was to go there, have a good time. And also we went to the Sun Records where Elvis recorded, and we recorded an album. Yeah.
So I want to talk about that. How did that go?
Well, it's 2.5 hours of us in the studio just messing around at I stood in the same place where Elvis stood. The bass player stood in the same place where the bass player, and it's just it's the holy ground. It's the church, I sang its original equipment. It's the same place. I played 2 songs on the piano, the same piano where Jerry Lee Lewis played, and
that's insane.
Yeah. So it was great, and it's like it sounds old. It has like, and that's exactly what I wanted. The engineers were great. They thought we wanted like, do you want to do another take? And I'm like, no, we're recording a sloppy album. That's the idea. Every song is 1 take, and if we fuck up, it's fine, because that's the idea,
Yeah. So you guys did the whole thing live, like all together, 1 take?
Yeah, all one take.
You did it
That's it.
literally like back in the fucking old days.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when is that actually set to release? And are we gonna get videos?
Yeah. Everything was recorded. As soon as I figure out how to mix and master, I was gonna have somebody else mix and master because I have individual tracks for each song.
Mhm.
But then I figured out well, Sam Phillips was like would have done it himself, so I'm gonna do it myself.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome. Oh, do you know when that's gonna start coming out?
I don't know. As soon as I
As
figure
soon as
out
you
how,
figured it all out.
yeah. So, but I'm not doing CDs. I'm gonna be doing vinyl hard copies of that for sure.
I think CDs are kind of dead anyway.
Yeah. I went to where did I go? Best Buy or Target, and it was like no CDs. And I think they
Yeah.
even said that they no longer get new CDs anymore.
I wouldn't put it
Which
past
is
them to start carrying vinyl soon. Even cassette tapes. That shit's
Uh-huh.
vintage now. People want
Yeah,
cassette tapes. They don't want a CD. Even though they
Yeah.
don't even have a cassette tape player, they want a cassette tape.
That's funny. I had a funny idea. Take some of my like more obscure videos with some of more popular videos and do
Mhm.
like a limited edition VHS cassettes of video.
That'd be really cool, especially if you edit it out to make it look like it was recorded for a VHS. That'd be
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I figured out what I wanted to ask. All those songs, you get requests, right? She was like, "Can you play a Steve Vai song?" A lot of
Right.
people are always asking, "Can you play this song?" Some of the songs you don't even know. You're like listening to it on your phone. How can you learn a song so quick on the go like that without even knowing what the song is?
Well, it's like, okay. So you see, people's minds are not DVD players. So their
Yeah.
memory bank, when they think of a song, especially if they're not musicians, they don't know the exact chords. They can sort of like da 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 da. So I can get away with like a lot of like creative liberty when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So if they request some sort of a song, usually what they're asking, there is a very short musical segment in that particular song that in their memory arouses a very particular emotion in their head. So
Right.
if I can nail that emotion, I can mess up on everything else. I can play the wrong chords, wrong
Mhm.
tempo, wrong notes, but
Right.
so I don't really learn it in such a short time. I sort of look at the recipe
Yeah.
and I know my ingredients, and if
Yep.
I don't have matching ingredients, then I do substitutes.
Yeah. It's all good. I think you do a good job. And yeah, what you said,
Thanks.
people don't care about hearing the actual song. They just want that emotion that the song gives it to them. And if you could just even play a couple of the licks on the guitar, they're like, okay, that's it.
Hmm.
And are you like, would you consider yourself just an all-around musician, or just like, what would you want to be, a soloist? Is that what you? Because a lot of your shit you loop and then you solo over it.
Well, I've gotten into looping because of utility, because venues didn't pay enough money to have the whole band, and it was too boring to strum guitar and sing.
Mhm.
And then kind of that condition forced me into become creative when it comes to looping. I just wanna write like EDM pop songs that end up number one on the chart, but on the side, I want to do like jazz fusion with orchestra, like completely like bizarre shit. So I want to write some songs that would take care of me financially, so then I could do whatever I want musically.
Right.
Just
I
obscure
exactly
stuff.
feel that. Right. So you can just do whatever you want and not feel like, okay, this doesn't have to make money because I already got money.
Right. Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy. Man, it sounds like you have a lot going on. What kind of bands, did you listen to when you were growing up? Whatever you got inspired to start writing music.
it was mainly, well, okay. So the official story, it goes that, I listened to, blues, which is true, but I started listening blues after I started playing guitar. Before I played guitar, the first two CDs I ever bought for my own money, which money was given to me by my parents, was Britney Spears, In the Zone, and Madonna. Um, I forgot the album, but it was like black and white. I think she's standing on the tank or something. I don't remember. I didn't like that as much, but I listened to Britney's album over and over and over
Yep.
again. Because if you listen to In the Zone, or no, Toxic, if you listen to Toxic, it's three chords. Now that I know chords and I hear chords,
Right.
it's like literally blues or rock and roll. Okay, it's
Hmm.
just like popped up, you know. So that's how I kind of got into. But I always listen to American music, you know, from
Right.
like 50s or 30s, that type of stuff. Like Lithuanian music was like a joke to me. I never liked it. Well, there are like two Lithuanian singers that I like, but it's not the type of music that I want to perform. I think I like them because of nostalgia. If I
Yeah.
didn't have like a heritage attached
Hmm.
to that era, I don't think I would even get it, you know.
Right. What kind of American music were you listening to? Britney Spears. I
Um,
mean, I guess that would make a lot of sense. I would listen to
yeah,
NSYNC and
yeah,
Backstreet Boys too. You know, that's just what you do when
yeah,
you're like
yeah.
that age.
I think then the parents got cable, so we got MTV and
Mm,
VH1. So I remember Black Eyed Peas and Sean Paul and Destiny's Child, and later it was just Beyonce.
yeah.
Busta Rhymes with Mariah Carey, baby, if you give it to me, give it to you.
That's funny.
Yeah, yeah, and so yeah, I don't know, a lot of American pop, and then once I was able to select what I want to listen, you know, because it's TV, you're not gonna like skip the song.
Right.
Then I discovered blues, you know, so it was like Lightning Hopkins, Johnny Hooker, B.B. King, Robert Johnson, you know,
Yeah.
Patsy Cline, and Etta James. Then I saw that movie Cadillac Records with Adrian Brody, where Beyonce played Etta James, and then I just downloaded a bunch of chess records. Stuff off the internet, listened to a bunch of that, you know, Howling Wolf
Right.
and everybody else. Yeah, so.
That's crazy. A lot of music out there. What are you listening to right now?
Um, well, I guess I circled back. It's a lot of Post Malone,
Mm.
Migos,
Oh yeah.
Cardi B. I like their production. I,
Hmm.
okay, what else did I get? Sia. I like her songwriting.
Oh yeah.
It's like simple but genius. You know.
Right.
Let's
Sounds
see.
like a lot of mainstream pop for sure. Rock,
Th-
like
yeah,
rap,
you
hip
see.
hop, pop, whatever that is.
Yeah, what I want to do, I want to see guitar in that context, because
Yeah.
I don't think guitar will like survive the cultural zeitgeist if it just keeps digging itself deeper into the hole that is gent. You know, it's
Yeah.
like no, it's like you see. Oh my God, you know, so like Khaled, Iggy Azalea. I mean, it's trash, but the production is great. Okay,
Oh yeah, it really is.
Taylor Swift. You know, so if you can, you know, do that fidelity and somehow introduce guitar in the new way
Hmm.
that is not, you know, like guitar sales are declining each year. The only reason companies say that the guitar sales are rising because they consider a ukulele in the statistics, and it's not genuine. It's disingenuous. You know, it's like,
Right.
and why is the ukulele rising? Well, you know, because of every chick on Instagram or Tumblr with a ukulele. You know.
Literally. That makes
Yeah.
that's great as fuck. I cannot.
So like Taylor Swift comes out with a guitar, the sales spike. You know,
Hmm.
Ed Sheeran, you know, comes out with a new hit music video where he's with a guitar, sales spike. You know, like Post Malone, like he did that song with Ozzy Osbourne. You know, and there's a bunch of guitar. Actually, his whole new album is like guitar in every song. You know,
Yeah.
and I think it's like overlooked. Everyone's talking about the Tool and the Fear Inoculum, which is great, but I consider them to be more of a legacy act, you know, that had their like prime, you
Right.
know, back in the day, as opposed to Post Malone just showed up like 2 years ago, you know. So
Right.
so that's
You
sort of
did
like my
a yeah, you did a really cool Post Malone cover. That Wow cover. I'm like, damn,
thanks.
how the hell do you do that? I mean, is that kind of what you would like that music to sound like
Yeah, that's
with the
yeah.
guitar?
Well, you see, if you strip down the production, it's it's almost like a rock ballad, except that the phrasing, the rhythmical phrasing of words where they are placed within the bar is modern.
Hmm.
People would like da 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 da, as opposed to like, doing a pre-roll, that's like a pop music production term when it begins before one.
Right.
like 100 bands in my, so bands lands on one, but like 100 is the pre-roll. So 100 bands in my pocket, it's on me, you know. I just and it's interesting, and people have been doing that forever, you know, like even that, you know, people that fetishize the good old age of music, and they have nostalgia boners, you know, for the music of the 50s, of the 60s. Well, that was the newest shit then, you know.
Yeah.
That's when they figured out that they're gonna do that, and all the boomers of would have been considered boomers in the 50s. They were like, well, no, in the 30s we had good music, you know. And it's like never-ending circle, you know. So.
Yeah, I find myself saying that all the time. I'm like, man, what's happened to that good old music? But yeah, it's because I'm 30. And then when I'm 40 or 50, I'll be saying it more. And then, you know, it's just a never-ending cycle forever. Everybody thinks that their music is getting better. But I will say the production of the music is definitely at its peak right now.
Yeah.
These dudes are putting out crazy music.
The fidelity, yeah, we've never had this fidelity before. Yeah.
It's insane. But it's also crazy that a lot of people think it's hard to write those songs. When we were talking earlier, you know, a lot of songs are 3-4 chords total. That's it. And just in maybe a different structure for the chorus, but even sometimes all the whole thing is the same. 4 chords over and over for the whole song, and that's it. It's crazy.
Right.
It's easy.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how to do that easy, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think the hardest genre of music to play is like avant-garde jazz, right? But the hardest genre of music to write is pop, because it is easy to write a 4-chord loop.
Yeah, that's easy.
But how do you get it to be number one for 9 weeks?
Right.
How?
Well, I think a lot of it's political, you know. I mean, you know how it goes. It's all politics. If you know a guy that knows a guy, you know, and you're on a label, they're like, all right, this is what you're going to do, and we're going to get you to the top. We're going to...
Well, that's why stories like Lil Nas X and the Old Town Road is inspiring. That's why stories like Post Malone and White Iverson is inspiring. That's why like Lizzo, you know, coming from nowhere and having like a #1 hit is inspiring and encouraging, you know. So I can see what you're saying once the act is established and there's like a market, the thirst, you know, and the big money from the label behind them. But when you come from nowhere and how they did it, you know, so that's really interesting to sort of like the reverse engineer, like how, you know.
Right. And when somebody does it, like, you know, when Taylor Swift dominated the charts, we're like, how is anybody going to do it like that? Right. And then somebody else will come out and do it. And like you said, with the Old Town Road, that was pretty recent, like last year, I think, maybe the year before. I can't remember. It dominated. It was #1. I can't even remember how long, for a long time.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Huge.
That would be crazy to have a #1 song hit. I wonder how that works. Like, do you get paid if you're #1, or what the hell's going on?
Well, it's sort of like the algorithm. So sort of similar to how YouTube, you know, has like a collaborative suggestive filtering based on user behavior. If other users have a history of similar behavior on the platform, then the video becomes recommended. And then sort of like that Steve Vai video got pushed out to everyone, probably whoever searched for guitar, you know.
Right.
You know, so similar on Spotify, iTunes, you know, they share similar algorithm patterns, you know. So somebody listens to a song and then they like listen to it again, and if there are enough users, data points, you know, because all these companies, they do data mining, you know. So that's what's encouraging. You see, like 10, 15 years ago, that's why I thought I needed to go on TV, you know, to become successful. But so YouTube and the way some videos, you know, got a lot of views, it's like, okay, maybe it's possible.
Right.
Maybe it's like, it's doable, you know, the same way to write a song and have it like, you know, get on the charts somehow. Because like 10 million views on YouTube, yeah, it's pretty cool. But 10 million streams on Spotify, now it's like next level, you know?
Yeah. So do you make, I saw that you've had about 15,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. Do you make a decent, like more money on Spotify than you were on YouTube if you were to get the same amount of streams on Spotify that you were getting on YouTube? Would you make more money on Spotify and get your music out there more?
I probably would, and it probably would be noticed by industry insiders more, you know, because right now there are still plenty of boomers in the industry that don't understand YouTube and they think it's for cat videos and shit or like
Right.
makeup tutorials, right? But but it's still streaming and music sales, music industry insiders. They respect that, they understand that. It's easy for them to digest what it is, how many streams, how many sales. So I think there are plenty of people that have like a couple hundred subscribers on their YouTube channel,
Yeah.
but they pack theaters. And their Spotify stream numbers are like with like 50 million a month,
Yeah.
and they like have like no YouTube presence, So there's plenty of examples in either direction.
Right. So is that what you're trying to do? Get your Spotify getting up there a little more?
Well, I want to be a recording artist that writes cool songs and just plays in front of people. I never wanted to be a YouTuber. If something on my SoundCloud would have gone viral, then I would have been a SoundClouder,
That's crazy. Yeah,
or a
it seems like
Facebook.
yeah, it seems like you were ready to do YouTube, but I mean, it makes sense that you would do that so that you could spend that money on actual music. Because the hardest part about music is making money. And if you can make money from it, then, you can do literally anything you want.
Yeah, and even with like YouTube, like I said, like let's say it's like a 10-minute talking video, and even if it has 10 million views, like what are you gonna do with it? What, are you gonna like go on tour 3 months later? What if it was a topical video? Well, now
Right.
the topic is irrelevant. But if it's a 2-minute song that could be interpreted on a personal level, subjectively, by listener from listener differently, and maybe some kind of Swedish DJ is gonna pick it up and do like a dance remix 5 years later, or
Yeah.
maybe a movie's gonna come out and somebody's gonna do one of those like movie trailers, slow down, like "Here I come," and do like a cover of that song, So it's like
Yeah.
it has way more applications. A piece of music, So yeah, that's what kind of my, I want to write new songs, and just do that. And
Yeah.
eventually, if it's still YouTube, I would just rather have somebody else edit videos because I spend so
hmm
much time editing.
Yeah. I mean, you got a lot of edits in your videos, at least the ones whenever you're playing live, it's not too many edits, but when you're doing like a video like this,
hmm
where you're just looking at the camera and doing your thing, yeah, I bet it takes a good minute to get that video quality.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm going to start wrapping this thing up here in a second, but we call this podcast, but do you have a real job? You as a musician probably hear it all the fucking time. You're like, yeah, I play music and maybe you do YouTube, and they're always like, yeah, I know that, but like, what's your real job? It's
Uh-huh.
so terrible. It's like I'm making more money than you are. No, not really, but um, so what was your first ever paying job?
Um, I was 16, and every Saturday I went to this yacht club in Lithuania, and I played jazz for 3 hours on guitar, and that was it. All
That's
I
pretty
ever did
cool.
was play music. Yeah.
That's crazy that you said, you know what, I want to play music, and at 16 you were making money from it. That's insane.
Yeah.
And what, in your opinion, would a real job be?
Well, I think like in the distant future when everything's like automated and people have access to like 3D bioprinting machines and the idea of a job, like I mean I'm talking like distant future, like flying cars and kind of like interstellar travel. I
hmm
think the idea of a job working from 9 to 5 in an office will be regarded as slavery, by
Yeah.
future civilizations. So so I don't know. I'm anti-job because imagine if what money
Right.
wasn't an issue. People would just they would explore the universe.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same. It's like you don't need to work 9 to 5 to make a living and do your thing and have a happy life. A lot of people think if they don't have that, that they're not going to be happy or they don't have a purpose. I think that really sucks, and it feels like it's kind of slavery in itself right now. It's like if you don't wake up and go to work, you're gonna fucking die.
hmm Yeah.
Which I don't think that's the case. I think we're all doing just fine. But yeah, it would be crazy to see the world in 50 years, 100 years. We probably won't be here in 100 years, but you never fucking know. Technology's getting out of hand. They might be able
Yeah.
to print out a kidney tomorrow that I can put in my body.
hmm
But you know,
it's crazy.
it's weird. I don't see that happening, but you know, it might happen. Are there any last words you want to add in on this podcast? Maybe talk about your new album or anything that you got going on in the next month or so.
Oh, a bunch of stuff. Just doing more festival gigs. You know, just rehearsing with the band like a solid an hour and a half set, you know, and just instead of doing like 4-hour gigs, just do one set that's a 1 hour or 1 hour and a half and just kick ass. And I guess there's going to be that Sun studio album as soon as I, you know, figure out, you know, how I'm gonna release it, and just write a bunch of new songs. You know, hopefully some of them will be good.
Yep, I understand. They're going to be great. I'm looking forward to the album. I'm definitely going to check it out when it comes out. Everybody on here, definitely go check out the Dovydas channel. If you're listening to this, you probably already know who he is. But definitely go check him out and go sub to his channel. Follow him on the Instagram and the Twittergram and all the grams. Thanks again, Dovy, for coming on, man. It means a lot. Happy that you came
Thanks
on.
for
Had a good
having
time.
me.
You were a good guest. I'm happy to talk to people I actually enjoy watching because, you know, I can actually ask you questions that I'm actually interested in knowing. So that's cool. So yeah, thanks again, man, for coming on. I'm going to let you go. And yeah, I will talk to you on the next podcast.
Sounds good. Bye.
Go, man.
But do you have a real